This is Computer Science Discoveries, Unit 3, and we are in the second part of Lesson 6 now. And here's where the fun is going to begin, because now you'll finally get to use something that's a little more exciting than just rectangles and circles and ellipses. So here we go. Let's start on level number 9. It says over on the Animations tab, you'll see 3 images that have been loaded for you. So that's over here. Ooh, look at that. Alien Bunny Fly Bot. Okay. You can get to the animation tab by clicking on it. Once you've created a sprite, you can use the Sprite Set Animation. Okay, so let's get this open. Notice this first one is where you're going to give your character, your animation, whatever little figure you're going to use. You're going to assign it a name with a variable. Then you have to say create the sprite and say where you want it to be positioned. And then we add this set animation part for your sprite. And in the drop-down menu, it will give you a selection of which ones you want. So let's go back here and read. We can use this command to change the look of our picture from a rectangle or from a rectangle to a picture. Okay, the alien is set up for you as an example. So right now it says alien, and when I go to animation, that's the first one. If I hit run, there's the alien, okay, at the position 300, 300, which is positioned by the center of this sprite. Change the input to the set animation command to change the look of the sprite and try out all the images. So go under here and try some of the other ones. Let's see what's going on, okay? So that you play around with it a little bit and you can see what is going on. In level number 10, what your job is here, it is asking you to upload your own image. So you're going to make a picture that has a flying kite. Images with transparent backgrounds work best. Open the Animations tab, click the plus, and then upload an image. Select the file from your computer. Rename it so it's easy to remember. Okay, and then back in code mode, when we get back here, we're going to use the Sprite Set Animation so that we can create or make our sprite show up in our new animation. And here it says, don't worry if it's too big. So what I want you to do is hop out here. And I'm going to show you some ways to search, since probably most of us use Google. If you remember when we were looking for images that we could use on our web pages, I recommended that you go to Tools, go to Usage Rights, and pick Labeled for Non-Commercial Reuse, because then that'll give you images that for sure have got some sort of Creative Commons licensing. Now, what I want you to do is, and you have other options here you can look at, okay? But under Color, pick Transparent. And what that's going to do is make sure that you don't get all of the extra background and things. So for me, for example, I kind of like this one, okay? So what you're going to have to do is save this or download it onto your computer. Okay, so I'm going to go Save Image As, and I'm going to put this, I'll just put it on my desktop. I'll call it this kite image for my file name, so it's there. And now, when I go to code, I'm going to go into the Animation tab, click on this plus sign for New Animation, upload my image from my desktop, which was, where'd it go? This kite image. Oh, shoot. So now we have some restrictions here as far as size. So we're going to have to pay attention to that, because this one is probably a little too big. Sometimes you can see if they give you some options when you go to download them to see if you can get a smaller file size. Oh, look, it's 109. A little too big. Well, let's go back and find something else then. That one's kind of funky. I like this one too. All right, find something, okay? Let's see if we can get something that isn't quite so big. I know on this one, 29K. That's a perfect one to save. All right, so I'm just going to put that one in the same spot. Now I'm going to go and upload this kite image, and that's this one. Ta-da! Look, there it is. Yes, success. Now, I can change the name of this thing if we want. So if I want to, I'm just going to call it kite, okay? That'll be good. Okay, now let's go back, and it said we uploaded it. Now rename your image so it's easy to remember. I did that. Use the Sprite Set Animation. So I'm going to come here, Sprite Set Animation. All right. And let's put that right here. Now, I called my variable kite, so I can't leave that default name there because I need to pick this up. And then here in that drop-down box should show up what I've got there. And let's see what happens. Ta-da! Oh, good gravy. Look at how big that is. They said, don't worry if it's too big, we're going to fix it. So move on from there and let's go to bubble 11. Resizing. Yay! In the sprites drawer right here of the toolbox, you will see a new block called Sprite Scale. It lets you change the size of a sprite in relation to its original size. Okay? Sprite.scale equals 1 is the normal size. And then if I set it to 5/10, it's half as big. If you set it to 2, it's twice as big. So if I run it, I see my kite is just ginormous. So what we want to do is we're going to grab this sprite scale command and we're going to change the size of our sprite. Now, it says the order of our code matters. You need to add this after you've created the sprite, but before you draw the sprite. So I think I'm going to just plop it right here, huh? So let's go here. All right, notice it put the equal sign there for me and everything. All right, it's giving me a yellow flag because I don't have a number there and this is not recognized. I need to make that match. My kite was huge, so I think I'm going to probably bring it down to we're going to try 3/10 and see what it looks like. A little better. It's kind of going off the screen. Maybe I'll even make it a little bit smaller. You play around with your image and see what happens. Yay! There we go. All right. Let's go on to lesson 12, or bubble 12, I should say. All right, on this one, you need to read through the code and then match it to what you see. What I really want you to notice is the order matters. And when you look back at these things that you've been working through so far, notice that draw sprites is at the end. If it's up further upstream, anything after it won't sprite-wise won't get drawn. So it's important you watch for that. And so go ahead and answer through 12 and then move on along. Here we are at 13. Add text. You can put text anywhere you'd like on the screen using a text command. Change the displayed text in the code provided. All right, so look at this. Just kind of a blank screen. Notice what I've got in there for code. A light yellow background. And then in drawing, now I see that there's a text command, okay, where this str, that's if you want to take a look at what that means there. Okay, basically that's the part where you're going to, in quotation marks, go ahead and put whatever text that you want there. It stands for string. Here's a whole bunch more information there. And then it has on there some position as to where you want it. Okay. It says change the displayed text in the provided code. Okay, so change me. So we'll say I am now changed. Okay, and if I run it, Now I'll see that. And then it says add a second text to write in a different part of the screen. So let's grab this. All right. I am in the corner. Okay. And this one, right now it defaults to 0 and 15. I'm going to put it at like 350 and 15. Let's see. Oh, and now it's even running off. So I guess I should probably back this off a little bit. Maybe try 300. There we go. All right. Play around a little bit with that. Go ahead and add some things in there. If you want, all right, it says the default text size is pretty small. You can use the text size block to change that, and you can also use fill to change the color of your text. That seems kind of interesting. Okay, so play around in here a little bit and see what you come up with. So you can make that bigger and change the color. When you get to 14, as you play around a little bit, oh, this one. Okay, this is a good debugging example on this one, and you have got to fix this. All right, this scene has all of the right code, but it's not in the right order. The scene should look like the image to the right. So notice what you've got here. You've got like this snake figure, okay? And the snake should be behind the bars, and then the words are out in front of the bars. So your job with all of this code is to figure out how to move things around and rearrange it to make that match. Excellent. On 15, here's that example we saw with at the beginning of this unit, okay? And what it's going to ask you to do here is get the worksheet that I've got for you and sketch out some kind of scene that you are thinking you would like to draw, a greeting card of some kind. Do you have a riddle, a joke? Is it a birthday greeting? Think about the shapes that you want, and we're going to start getting ready to then compose a simple scene. All right, so now when you get here, here is where you are going to draw your own. All right. I've asked you to sketch it out. Here they want you to put in a background color and add any necessary shape commands to draw the non-sprite parts. So maybe you want some kind of dark background, like, you know, I have a thing about purple. Okay. Oh, where is it? Maybe I just have to just make it purple for now. Ta-da. Okay, then maybe I want some text on here. Let's see. Vikings skull. I'm going to put that at about 25 and 100. Let's try that. Oh, we can hardly see that, so that's not good. So kind of play around, keep going from there, okay? And as you move through the rest of these, when you get to 17, they want you now to start to add a sprite or two and have a little image or a scene in here. So you can look at the ones that are already created there for you, okay? You've got lots of them drawn in here. Maybe you're into music and you want to use some of that. You want to throw a piano in there or something. Okay, so we've got that now loaded in my list. I could go back here and say, all right, I want a piano. And then I'm going to have to put piano here. And it'll be there. Okay. And gosh, let's just see where that, oh, so now something's up. So I've got to figure out where you want it. You got to play around a little bit and see what's happening as you create your sprite. Do you know what I did wrong or what it's missing yet? Just because I've called it out and I've got a sprite defined, remember that you always have to draw it. Ta-da! There it is. Okay, so little things to watch for. You start working on this and getting some tweaking on there, get some text and see what it looks like. You can add a lot of sprites on here. You only have to have one draw sprite at the bottom. So if I wanted to throw some more stuff in here and I wanted to add, a cute little, they call this an elk. Okay. So if I wanted to add that in there, then just make sure that you go back into your Sprite toolbox and notice I'm putting it before the draw sprite. So if I put, it looked like a moose to me, but apparently it's an elk. Okay. And throw that underneath, and then I'm going to say I want the elk, but I don't want it in the same position. Maybe I'll put this at like 350, 350. And let's see what that looks like. Oh, now it doesn't like that one. Oh, because, duh, guess who didn't pick the elk? Oh, my goodness. And now look how big he is. So then maybe I want to scale that poor elk back because he's just too stinking big. So maybe I want to make that around 4/10 the size. Okay. Play around, get some text in there, get some other things going so that you can see what you want it to look like. Okay. And hopefully it'll match your picture. And when you've got that set, then the last thing, oh, and they wanted you to put the text here. So notice I just threw the text in there right away. Sometimes they say put that part last to make sure that it's in that right spot. Like I said, mine doesn't look so good because it's so small and fine and things. So you play around with what you want it to look like, and let's see what you come up with. I'm excited to see your creations. Hey, if you go and use a downloaded image, will you try to make sure you get a transparent one? Otherwise, it's going to be just a big old box around there and it looks awkward. So if you get something that you download that already has transparency to it, you won't get all of that background. Well, have fun. Good luck, and I'm excited to see your creations.